Then later during this meeting, during the plenary session, we'll be able to go through your questions. Karibuni sana. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your opening remarks. Right now, let me invite the chairperson of Ethics and Media Freedom Committee, Martin Masai, to give his remarks. Karibuni sana.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Our guest of honor, who is also the keynote speaker, Your Excellency Jane Marriott and your delegation, colleagues gathered here this day, I want to engage all of us in a conversation on the theme of enabling press freedom in Kenya. Conversations about press freedom are old, quite old, and I guess we will engage and leave the conversations to be taken up by other people who come after us. But since we are the ones on it, we must also play our part. Let me say that freedom of the media is a principle that communication and expression should be considered a right to be exercised freely via spaces in print and electronic media. And so here in Kenya, our media freedom is founded firmly on the Constitution of Kenya, Article 34, Section 5. And it's also supported in national legislations, quite a set of them. And as we will see in this conversation, we will need to find out whether these legislations that come after the article in the Constitution, Article 34, whether those legislations are supportive or they are a clawback to media freedom. Let me also say that media freedom is also grounded on international instruments such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which grants every person freedom of opinion and expression, freedom to receive and impart information as you will, and also in the international regional instruments such as the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, and in the African Charter on Human Rights. And these legislations, they recognize, they empower the people of this country to be as expressive as possible. Within the Kenyan context, I want to identify those as key legal enablers of freedom of expression. But to take this conversation forward, we also have in Kenya as a great enabler, a great audience framework that demands to get to know, that encourages us, the practitioners, to seek and get and relay it back to them so that citizens know. As the President has indicated, really this freedom is for the benefit of citizens. And I think it's necessary to identify our great audiences in print, radio, television, and the social media as enablers of this freedom. We also have in this country a robust stakeholder framework. People, their organizations, media related. As I speak now, I think organizations that are media based, they're getting to about 16. You have Amwick, for instance. You have Crime Reporters Association. You have Article 19. It also sticks out its neck for purposes of media freedom. In a way, we can speak about the Media Council of Kenya because it's a co-regulated entity, Media Council, and many other such robust stakeholders. Let me also not forget the Media Sector Working Group, which sits to give impetus to some of these legislations and speak to government over some of the concerns that exist as we try to exercise freedom of media. I also want to identify media plurality as an enabler. Gone are the days when we used to speak in this country of a few newspapers, the national broadcaster, and the national radio. The FM stations that I come from are so many, and as I stand here, they are speaking to citizens of this country. These are not the days when you'd have to wait until morning to see what happened yesterday. The plurality of media players has enabled participation, contribution in media freedom, real time. Things have changed thanks to media plurality in the enjoyment or exercise of freedom, media freedom. I also want to identify the technological advancement that we are enjoying in this country and the world over as a key player in enabling media freedom. Every citizen with a gadget like this is a reporter, is an editor, is a publisher. Although there are underlying things about that situation. But the reality is that freedom of expression has gone to a new level. I want to say that these freedoms, as we enjoy them, they also come with responsibilities. In fact, the essence of that freedom, that public good for the people of Kenya, has to be underlined by responsibility. And I wish that these players that I've mentioned up here, they could also subscribe to this particular value so that you communicate with responsibility, so that you are accurate, you are ethical, that you are fair, you are objective, that you are professional, that there is a code of conduct to follow. We in the formal media do it, but the rest, the clan, the emerging clan in the social media, these are alien values. And I think much as we want this freedom enhanced, responsibility must be on top all the time. I will not be fair in this conversation if I just speak about the enablers without identifying the pushback effect that has also come out of these enabling efforts. The media sector legislation leaves a lot to be desired. We still have the Official Secrets Act intact, irrespective of what the Constitution says. We have Access to Information Act, which is being implemented so ineffectively as to render useless the growth of freedom of expression in this country. Government functionaries also kick in these conversations. Let me also highlight this other law, the Cyber Crimes Act. It's creeping to claw back freedom of expression. We have seen what has happened to people who express themselves on social media. Books and Newspapers Act is still intact. If you want to publish, you have to execute a bond of 1 million shillings, and so on and so forth. Let me also indicate within the Media Act and the KECA Act, they have overlapping roles. Government agencies that seem to have competing responsibilities. And this doesn't augur well. In fact, what happens is they tend to want to shut down media houses. And I want to say without any iota of doubt that some of these laws are a violation of Article 34 of the Constitution. Having said this, I want to mention that a conversation is kicking in about media viability. Media viability needs to be looked at in a way that a viable media may have the guts to stand up to the state and do things within the framework provided for in enjoying the freedoms of expression that are provided for in Article 34. And the more we empower our media houses to be viable, the better the conversation in my thinking. But I want to share with you here that as I was thinking about this conversation of today,